that I then wrote the letter to say, no, what is this now? And then McBride brought in Kabinde, and then they started investigating. And to cut matters short,
did Kabinde engage with the Hawks?
they engaged the Hawks, the head of Hawks in KwaZulu-Natal at that time, to say, what is this? What is the basis? And they found out that he said, according to Kabinde, when they inquired with him, he said he was not satisfied with the reasons that were advanced by DPP, and the procedure was that they would have appealed to the national head of prosecutions instead of pursuing a matter that was now closed by DPP at provincial level. And that was out of procedure, what was happening.
So once I'm sorry to
Yes.
to speed it up a bit, Honourable Minister. So once the suspects were apprehended, they were prosecuted,
Yes.
and imprisoned. What happened, or what was your relationship with Nkabinde? He is now working for IPED.
Yes.
That issue has now been resolved. So just fast forward a bit. What did you continue
Yeah.
to have a relationship? Did it strengthen with Nkabinde? Did it become personal? Just tell us a bit about that.
It was now very loose and very relaxed, not pursuing anything, because I was now satisfied. I need to have mentioned that what I said to Chula was that you can pursue me if you feel I'm a suspect, but don't lose sight of somebody whose hands are with Xolani's blood, and there's evidence to that effect. You rather do both.
Yeah.
And I put that very strongly. And that led to that person being prosecuted and so on.
But
So
Minister,
with Kabinde, it was now very loose. It would be just a call here and there, not for anything. I just appreciated the way they had done the job.
Now we heard this actually from Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, that Nkabinde then left the IPED. I'm not sure whether it was a termination, a resignation, or a dismissal, but he left
Yes.
IPED.
Yes.
I think he had a fallout allegedly with McBride,
Yes.
and he left IPED. He was unemployed for a while, and then Mkhwanazi found him a job with a security firm. I don't know if you're able to comment on that or how much you know about it. If you don't have to comment on it. But yeah, so during this period that I'm referring to, do you still have a relationship with Nkabinde? Do you still know him? Do you still interact with him?
Now, when I called Cedric in terms of the vacancy as Chief of Staff, to say he may submit a application if he so wishes for the panel that would interview them. I did check some detail on the profile, and actually after I spoke to him, it is not exactly as John Mkhwanazi puts it. Cedric spoke to me that all the reasons why he had to leave IPED and circumstances thereof. After that, he got employed by the bank in their forensics department and so on. And he told me that John Mkhwanazi actually knows that Cedric got employed in the bank because he would invite Gerald Mkhwanazi to functions of the bank because they were close, and he would attend. So he knows beyond any doubt that he got employed. So he found it strange that he is said to have been unemployed.
Yeah, they, I'm not sure what the position he is currently, but they were friends, they were close.
They were.
That's
Yes.
how we hear about these phone calls between Mkhwanazi and Kabinde. So,
Well, I'm not
let's
sure.
just fast forward a bit. This position of Chief of Staff,
Yes.
what was it? Is it an advertised position?
No.
What are the qualifications you need to have to be a Chief of Staff of a minister in government?
Now, there is something called ministerial handbook. What happens is that when you recruit staff, you've got to look at the ministerial book and what it says about each position, and then you contact people that you think are possible candidates, and they get to a panel set up by the department that you are working for, and they get interviewed. I know this in detail because I was once Minister of Public Service and Administration, and I made sure that I introduce improvements that are in place today in terms of recruitment, so that you don't recruit anyone just because you love them or because they are associated with you or they are your relatives. We prescribed certain qualifications, because if you're chief of staff, you are actually a chief director. So it can't be that you get there because you are related to the current minister. You must possess, because you get a salary paid for by the public, you must be seen to be meeting certain criteria.
So he had to meet the
had to
criteria
meet-
or qualifications for a chief director
together with
in the
other
public
people.
in the
Yes,
public service.
Definitely.
And that position is advertised.
No, that position is not advertised. It just gets proceeded with internally. Within the,
Because I'm asking because you mentioned something about a panel. Maybe I got it wrong.
Yes,
I heard wrong.
yes, it gets processed by the department itself internally. That there's you are supposed to have such a number of staff members, and we are ready with the panel. You can give us names and so on, including internally. People get to know inside the department that
So
there's a-
how does the panel get these names? Is it an internal?
it's an internal arrangement that you give them names of people, but other people get to know that there's a post internally within that department, and they apply. But it is a risk thing in the sense that when anyone who works with you, who agrees to work with you, has their term attached to your term. So being minister, you get appointed, but at some point you get appointed, you know that you will get disappointed at some point. And when they come, they know that they will be
Appointed and then you get
disappointed together with you.
disappointed.
Yes. So you can't easily leave a permanent post only to be disappointed the following week or so.
No, I just want to understand, how did Nkabindi's name get into the mix? If this was an internal process, how did his name get?
It's an internal process.
Did you put forward his name?
You put forward the names as a minister, but you also allow, if there are people internally that can apply, that would wish to apply, and they do so. And so they therefore submit their profiles, why they think they are suitable, and so on, and then they get interviewed. That's the bottom line. They get interviewed.
They get interviewed, and do they then make a recommendation to you, or do they?
They do
who makes you make the appointment?
They do give me results of the application on various aspects of what these people know, what they have in terms of skills and all of those things, even qualifications academically and so on. And then you say, look, I would rather take so and so, and looking at compliance and all of those matters.
And those records, would one be able to access them? Would they be available?
They get kept by the department.
Okay.
They get kept by the department.
So,
because
so from the list of names, how many names did you get?
well, it is in accordance with the establishment for your support as minister as prescribed by the ministerial handbook. They allocated a specific number.
So,
It's a limited number.
on what basis or for what reason did you prefer Nkabinde as chief of staff? Is it because of your relationship with him, which started in 2017 when he was working for IPID?
That is one factor, but the other factor is compliance. His educational qualifications, his experience, which is related to police. I had a chief of staff, but when I came to police, I realized that, look, I would benefit from somebody who has background. This is a large department, it's a police department. I would benefit if I were to get somebody who has some understanding of how police work, and so on. And I found that he met those criteria. But as a minister, when you do so, you also need somebody who you think you can trust, and so on, somebody you have some background with. And yes, that was one factor that I considered.
Now, I understand that he was only a non-commissioned, lower-level police officer. He had no senior police experience.
The post of chief of staff didn't require that I look for somebody who must have been a brigadier or must have been a general or something like that, because there was no such prescription. Prescription is there, that a person must have a certain level of qualifications, and he met those qualifications with a degree in policing and all of that. And so the level is not necessarily prescribed. Actually, you can even get somebody who has no background of policing, but I needed somebody. I thought I needed somebody who had some background of policing, because I was all of a sudden appointed there, and therefore I needed that kind of leverage.
And I suppose the other maybe unwritten criteria or qualification, or rather criteria, is you need to appoint someone that you can trust.
You definitely need somebody,
especially chief of staff.
Yes, that you have a certain level of trust with. But at the same time, you can trust a person, but only to find that they have no related experience, nor do they have qualifications. And therefore, it's quite a number of factors that you have to consider when doing so.
I also asked because there is a WhatsApp, which I'll find, or ask to find, where I think it's Mkhwanazi or Matlala, they say that they're looking for your number, and then it says that they should ask Nkabinde for your number. Are you aware of it? Do you want to comment on it? Or would this be the usual protocol? If I want your number, Honourable Minister, do I have to go through your Chief of Staff to get your number?
Now, I'm not sure I'm aware of that, but in case it happened, it wouldn't have been something that would have happened for the first time. They phone PAs, they even phone other people that I work with looking for the number. It depends on who the person who wants my contact gets to know or to get to contact. It's not just the chief of staff only, but they also do talk to other people that I work with. In some cases, they even talk to my wife wanting my numbers.
But that's at a very personal level, isn't it?
Well,
not when it comes
not
to
necessarily.
Work or business relationships.
You lose quite a chunk of your private life. They would phone her on something related to my work, wanting an appointment or something like that. Even my children, in some cases, they phone them and they say, give me your number, only to find that it's something related to work. a person requires an appointment with me for some reason or the other. It happens. That too.
But Minister, of course, it's in this context because
Yes.
I'm sure you'd be concerned about it. I mean, it's in the context of, you've heard various allegations about Mkhwanazi and Matlala. It's in that context that there's reference to him and that he'll provide your number. Is that appropriate? Is that a satisfactory state of affairs?
Now, I don't know what Senior Counsel is talking about because I haven't come across it where the two would have wanted my number from Chief of Staff, but if it did happen, I'm just wondering what they would have wanted that number for and when and all of that. But as I indicated earlier, I indicated that I started interacting with the name Matlala, not him, after the 20th of November. So if they were looking for my number after the 20th via the Chief of Staff, it could have been something to do with that issue. But even there, I would still, wonder what it was all about.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Then I'm moving on from Nkabinde now.
Yes.
You wanted to reference some, what you call discrepancies in Mkhwanazi's account, and it's in your statement at page 33.
Yes. I wanted to touch on those briefly, on those discrepancies. Which bundle? On page?
No, it's not 33. Page, it's 24, sorry. Page 24 to 33. 24, there's a subheading, discrepancies in Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi's accounts. And, it goes to page 33.
Yes, I'm trying
You want to address that?
I'm trying to get some assistance to get to those. Oh, yes. Yes. Well, I wouldn't want to take a lot of time, seeing that we don't have as much time. I'll just make a few references where I came across very, very, very concerning discrepancies. I've already pointed at one discrepancy in relation to what I said in Parliament on the 5th of March, and related to what he said on the 6th of March, and that there's a yawning discrepancy, very disturbing discrepancy between the two. But the ones that I want to talk about here is one is where General Mkhwanazi is continuously referring to, in his affidavits, to the National Political Killings Task Team as a KwaZulu-Natal political killings task team. The actual official name of the team is National Political Killings Task Team, and it's important that we stick with that particular reference, because if you juggle, you get to mislead the public, maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally. Number two, on the 6th, at the media briefing that he did, asserted that the National Political Killings Task Team had been disbanded as a result of my directive of the 31st of December 2024 letter. And in the same breath claimed that today, that day, the 6th, they are bringing all dockers to Sibia as a result of the disbandment. He linked things that are not linked. The disbandment, the directive that I gave to dockets. In my directive, there's no reference whatsoever to dockets. There's no reference whatsoever to SBIA. So when you read the directive and you make a public appearance shortly thereafter, or sometime thereafter, and you say as a result of that directive, I am now taking dockets, you make the public believe that following your directive, you are now taking the dockets to a SBIA, and you link the two in a troubling kind of manipulation. Or manipulated
Yeah, I think
kind of
I think it's
relations.
pretty clear to me, Minister,
Yes.
that
The next one,
that the dockets were requested by Sabia and not
Yes.
by you.
but in the Madlanga Commission, General Mkhwanazi then changed completely, and he then spoke about acknowledging the continuing operations of a national political killings task team, notwithstanding my disbandment. He did say expressly that work is continued to operate even in 2025. That's what he was saying. So quite worrying discrepancies as a result. The next one, before Madlanga Commission, General Mkhwanazi suggested that Parliament had failed to act after his 5th March appearance before the SAPS Portfolio Committee, including that Parliament had been confronted with the same WhatsApp and proof of payment evidence that he had publicly alleged. And I know that subsequent to that, the Honorable Chair did confirm that there was no such at the Portfolio Committee. And I did attend. There was no such a presentation. And there are a number of those. I don't want to exhaust all of them. But also somewhere in point 66, during the ad hoc committee hearings on 9 October, the honorable members, yes, that's what I'm saying, the chair of the portfolio committee did deny all these things being presented, including any commentary from SAPS, because in that meeting, SAPS never raised any concern whatsoever about the disbandment. They just presented compliance and so on. But the other discrepancies, Mr. Matlala, or any 360 million tender was not presented there and so on. So there are quite a number of discrepancies. I'm just making references to them in the interest of time, that come about in his statements depending on the platform. And that is very, very worrying.
Well, you've set that out in your statement.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister, Honourable Chair. That concludes this part of our questioning. As usual, if I